You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.
Recording in progress.
What up, though? You listen to the SS Experience streaming on the SMG Podcast Network app. Download the SMG Podcast Network app on all your Apple devices. Android, I'm getting to you. Today is a day that we like to have a special guest on the show because you guys don't want to hear me talk for like hours and hours. And sometimes the podcast crew, we got to change it up a little bit. So I got a real dope special guest. I've been following her for a very, very long time. Didn't want that to sound creepy, but I've been following her work for a very, very long time. And when certain people get my attention on social media, I have to shoot this shot and try to get them on the show. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'm glad in this particular instance that it's worked because I've been a fan of her since reality TV. She's a former pro athlete. She hosts a show, Ask Miko. Again, she's a reality star. Baller Wives, I think is the one I'm looking for. Baller Wives, yes, Baller Wives. And she got a lot of good work that's going on too. So we're gonna definitely get her to talk about all of that. Miko Grimes, ladies and gentlemen, and I wish I had the applause button set up. I don't have it, but applause, and we'll put this in post-production. Miko, what's going on with you?
Hey, what's up? I appreciate you actually asking. So many people DM me, and there's a side of DMs that people you interact with, and then there's the other side. My side is a little scary over there, but I constantly tell people all the time, if you want me on your show, do not DM me, email me, because I'm gonna ignore it 9 times out of 10. If I see something and I'm in a good mood, I might say, hey, send me an email, but you're never gonna get me to respond to your show from DMing me. So I appreciate you for sending the email to my assistant and getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, because like I've done that a lot of times too, the whole DM thing. Like, I'm gonna just shoot a DM real quick. Maybe it's a little bit quicker, but I have the DMs as the same exact way where it's like people that DM me stuff and then I go into I just like, okay, let's see, why is this folder so much of people? Then I look in it like, oh, it was actually some good stuff in here. Like sometimes IG be trying to spam, like this is spam. Like, no, this was cool. Like, no, don't do that.
No, it's a lot of penises. There's a lot of like emojis about, sex. Then there's a lot of people talking shit to me. And then mixed in, oh, can I cuss?
Yeah. We're good.
And then there's some mixed in people that are actually genuinely wanting to interact, connect, do business. And I'm like, listen, to take yourself out of the riffraff, shoot me an email. That's when I know you're serious.
Right.
You just throwing it in the DMs. I don't know if that's serious. That just seems like something you just clicked and hurry up and done. If you put out a professional email and my assistant sees it and she's going to do her job to figure out if you're worth my time and my energy, she's going to report back to me, hey, this is something you might be interested in, or she's going to not even tell me if she feels like it's not worth my time. So you got past her. That's good.
Well, emailing from an iHeartMedia email account does kind of help. I kind of learned that along my travels when I'd be like, I don't want to just use the radio station email to get stuff done. But guess what? It gets stuff done. So yeah, shout out to your assistant for allowing me to get in the building. So Miko, I don't be trying to do the whole nostalgia, like your life story type thing, because I feel like that's been done millions of times. Like if people really want to do that, like Miko's been doing interviews for a very, very long time. If you want to know her whole story, go there and get it. I want to talk sports with her. We can do a little bit of culture talk. We can interweave that in, but this isn't about to be the ask Miko about her life story type thing. So one thing that I want to get in real quick, I saw that you was doing something, you was doing a casting call. It kind of went away a little bit, but did you want to talk about that real quick?
Absolutely. Yeah, so during the pandemic, I kind of decided I didn't want to be in the sports industry anymore. I didn't want to do sports journalism. I felt like there was no space for me in this industry because I'm a truth teller and I'm pro player. So it's kind of hard to make moves and grow your following and, get the jobs that I feel like I deserve when I'm this way. And so the pandemic gave me an opportunity to jump into a new industry, which was TV and film. And so I wrote a short film. I'm self-taught. I did not take any classes to learn how to write TV and film. I didn't take any acting classes. I literally just hit up a bunch of people I knew in the industry, and they told me what books to read to learn how to write a TV series and a short film, and how to act in it. And I wrote it and I shot it. I shot a short film during the pandemic, and I've so far won over 10 short film festival awards. And it's a TV series, as I said before, but the short film is a proof of concept, like a pilot for the TV series. And so I've been shopping it around for like the last 2 years, and I just can't get anybody to pick it up because, again, I'm self-taught. I don't have any experience. This is my first time doing all this, so nobody trusts me to handle an entire TV series and that kind of money that they would pay me to do it. So what I've decided to do is shoot several episodes of the TV series to give them more proof of concept that even though I am new to this industry, I know what I'm doing. You know, I can do it. Like there's some people that have to go to school and some people don't. And right now with the way social media is and the way the internet is, you can learn how to do everything online, books, online, everything. And I just want to be one of the people that shows other people that you can do anything that you put your mind to. So I'm casting for my TV series this month in January. If you want to, if you're an actor or even if you don't have any experience, I'm taking everybody. You want to audition, follow me on H.O.E. on Instagram.
Audience, for the video audience, I'm waving my hand because I definitely want parts in this acting thing. You know what I'm saying? So how can everybody get on?
Hey, so all you have to do is go on Instagram and follow H.O.E. everything. Let me explain what that means. H.O.E. is the name of the TV series. It's an acronym for happiness over everything. And you follow that Instagram page, you will find all the characters that we're trying to cast. There's an email button there. You click the email, you send in that you want to audition. Well, now, if you have experience, you send in a resume, you send in a reel. If you don't have experience, send in whatever resume you have of whatever work you've ever done. I don't care if it doesn't have any acting in it. Just show me that you are a successful person, that you're hustling, you're grinding, you're trying to do something, and you would like to try out this acting thing. We will look at you. Oh, pictures. We need photos, not selfies, nothing with filters. If you have some professional headshots, great. If you don't, set a tripod up and take some pictures of yourself. Send them in. Do whatever you feel like can help you get our attention. If we like your look, we'll send you something called sides. That's like, lines of a certain script of a person that we think fits your description, right?
Okay.
You read those, you record yourself reading those, and you'll have a dialogue. If you know someone else that can help you, have them read the other parts so you can have a timing thing, like of how the line is supposed to be, let off.
Yeah.
And you send that back to us. Everyone that we like, we're going to have a second casting for you. And then if you make the third one, you're in. That simple.
And one more time, tell them where they have to follow to do that, because I'm definitely going to shoot my shot at that for sure.
Follow H.O.E. everything on Instagram, and you will find all the information there. If you see something, if you don't know something or you have a question, send a DM. My assistant and my director, one of them will contact you and answer your questions if you have any questions further once you've looked at the page and you've seen everything that we've posted so far.
Happiness over everything, also known as H.O.E. I mean, if the hoes want to apply, they can too. You know what I mean? She says she's taking any and everybody. You know what I mean? She is not discriminating around these parts. We got Miko.
There's a lot of H.O.E. moments too, by the way.
And we all look. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody loves a H.O.E. moment from time to time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
No matter what, everyone loves a H.O.E. moment from time to time. Miko Grimes is on the SS Experience on 106.7 The Beat. Listen on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, the SMG Podcast Network app. Make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, re-rate, re-review, resubscribe, unsubscribe, and then subscribe again so the algorithm can think we popping out here in these digital streets. So, Miko, I want to recap some NFL with you real quick. I'm a diehard Eagles fan, but unfortunately, I'm not wearing any of it. I mean, I wore this for the professional-ist of it. Normally, I have some Eagle stuff around here somewhere.
Oh, damn. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was kind of all bad. But before you hurt my feelings and talk about the Eagles real quick, let's see. What outside of that game, there was some other games: Dolphins, Chiefs, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Bills, a couple of your old teams from back in the day. We'll talk about that in a second. Like I said, Dolphins, Chiefs. Who else was in there? Oh yeah, the Bucks, Eagles. We don't want to talk about that right now. Packers, Cowboys. What's a game over the weekend that you was most interested in when you was watching, if you did get a chance to watch?
Well, I'm a Rams fan. So I was most interested in the Rams and Lions game. And yeah, I was proud of my team just for making the playoffs. We started off real bad in the beginning of the season. Obviously, we had a lot of injuries, but once we got healthy and once we started to find other offensive weapons, we, had a very successful season and made it into the wild card playoffs against, our old quarterback, versus our new quarterback. We did the whole switcheroo thing, and I thought it was a really good game. I thought we were evenly matched for the most part. I know that there was a huge play that the referees missed, that could have helped us win the game, but I don't blame that call on why we lost. We didn't score in the red zones like we needed to. We missed some opportunities that gave the Lions the game. And so shouts out to them. They deserve the win. I'm a fan, but I'm realistic. And I truly believe the Lions played the better game and they deserve to win the game. But that was the game I was most excited about just because no one had our team even winning, being 500 this year. And we won, 10 games. We got into the playoffs. Like we did our thing.
This crazy thing that you said that the Rams is your team is because obviously, the whole fake journalism thing that I try to do, which is like Wikipedia real quick or whatever. You got St. Louis ties too, so you get to claim the Rams from both. Because I know that you probably, out in LA doing your thing or whatever. So you get a chance to claim the LA Rams and the St. Louis Rams. So like, how did you feel like when they moved from like one place to the other, even though like both of them, even though the team moved to both of your places?
Well, I grew up a Rams fan as a young girl. I've always just been a crazy football fan. I played a lot of flag, a lot of, the girly stuff,
Yeah,
the,
yeah, yeah.
powder puff and all that. But, when they moved to St. Louis, it was perfect for me because I was living on the East Coast. So it was a shorter trip for me to go there. And it gave me an excuse to go see my family. I have lots of family in both LA and St. Louis. So it was fun. And we were the greatest show on turf in St. Louis. Like it was a time. Okay. And I knew a lot of the players, Marshall Falk, Steven Jackson, Torrey Holt. Those are all my friends. Those are like good friends of mine. And so it was fun to watch them play uh in St. Louis and then now they're back in LA, new stadium in Inglewood, the city that, I'm from. So it just kind of it makes it all good for me. Like I'm happy.
So you get to keep your throwback Rams stuff.
Yeah.
The first
Yep.
time that was
I,
in
I
LA.
St. Louis stuff and LA stuff. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So I wanted a game I was kind of interested in is like I said, one of your quote unquote former teams. Husband played for the Dolphins back in the day. You got like a lot of Miami ties there.
Oh
I
yeah.
want I don't want to talk about the game itself. I want to go like a different route. Should that game have been played? Like I'm just saying, like -30 something, feeling -30. I want to have a good product on the field. I get it, it's cold, but I never made millions of dollars. Maybe if I was making millions of dollars, I'm not trying to play in that cold. The same thing that they did in Buffalo. They said, "Nah, we're not gonna shovel this snow. Let's get us out of here. Let's wait a little bit." You think that Dolphins game should have been played?
Well, absolutely. And let me tell you why. Football is played in any weather. Unless there's lightning, you got to suit up. That's really a big element of the game is like people think it's an advantage for the Dolphins when they come to South Florida because of the heat. There's humidity. I know that's where I live. I live there and we will have 100 degree temperatures, but it feels like 115.
Mm,
So you got to play rain, sleet, hail, snow. Like you got to play through it all. And what happened, the reason that the Bills game was moved is because they were more concerned about the fans getting into the stadium because there was you couldn't fly into Buffalo. People couldn't get there.
right.
Makes any sense. The roads were shut down. People couldn't drive into the stadium. They were worried about packing the stadium. That's the only reason that game was changed. Had that not happened, it doesn't matter the weather. You've got to play through it all. And Kansas City, they loved having the Dolphins into that kind of weather. I'm sure they were so excited because you already have a team that hasn't proven that they can win big games. And then you have a weather element involved as well with a team that's used to playing in cold like Kansas City. I mean, nobody's used to playing in negative temperatures every week, but they've been through so many cold games in December and January that that doesn't affect them. So why would they move it to make the Dolphins more comfortable for the next day? No. Mm-mm. You got to play through it all, and that's what champions do.
So the Dolphins ain't about to win no time soon, then basically, because they haven't been able to do it yet. And I want the Dolphins to win. I like the Dolphins. I want to be able to go to Miami and just see a nice little parade. But yeah, that's not about to happen no time soon. They're not about to. Nah,
They make bad decisions, and one of the positions that you can't make bad decisions on, and that's quarterback. And they're consistently making bad decisions at quarterback. And when you do that, you kind of put yourself in bad situations every time, because then you spend the first year saying, "Oh, this is the guy. This is why we love him," and then he doesn't go, do what you thought. Then the second year is like, "Oh, that was his first year into the offense. We need to give him another year." And the third year it's like, "Oh, we added some new weapons. We got a new coordinator. We've got to," they make all these excuses to really like like mask the fact that they made a bad decision. They just can't get rid of them because they owe them money. Like they owe you money. They're not going to just get rid of you when they owe you $100 and something million. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the business of football. So they're going to constantly like lie and say, there's a reason that this guy can get you to the Super Bowl, when in reality 75% of the quarterbacks in the NFL are not Super Bowl quarterbacks, but they will never tell you that, because why would the fans show up? They're not interested. I mean, I'm going to say this. They do want to win a Super Bowl, but winning the Super Bowl is not the goal. The goal is to get asses in the seats. The goal is to get the jersey sold, to buy the merch, to buy the $10, $15 hot dogs, the $9 beers, and all the things that come with creating the billionaire. And winning or losing does not generally affect how you make money. Winning the Super Bowl or losing the Super Bowl isn't that. It's just the element of hope for the fans. And as long as there's hope, there's going to be asses in the seats, and that's a win for the owners.
So we're talking about Jerry Jones now, right?
We're talking about all of them.
that fits good old Jerry very well. As long as I'm in the news, as long as I got headlines, as long as y'all buying these new 88 jerseys. No, trade in that other 88. Get this new 88 jersey right here, because we're going to keep giving you 88 jerseys all throughout the rest of your time as a Cowboys fan. Like I said, I'm an Eagles fan, so I enjoyed that dog walking, but that means I have to talk about my team getting dog walked too. But before we talk about my team getting dog walked, no, I want to talk about the Cowboys getting dog walked, because it was hilarious. They won the division. They stole the division from us just to put that BS out there. Not just saying that we would have did any better if we had a home playoff game, but man, that dog walk against the Packers was something crazy. What did you see in that game that just, because everybody thought that that was going to be a game that they was going to win. I mean, because they was like 16-0, 8-0 in the season. So they was undefeated. The Packers was coming in. They wasn't as great as the Cowboys was on paper. But boy, man, like, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers was out there again. The way Jordan Love was just slinging that thing. Pause. So what was you thinking about particular game before we talk about my team getting dog walked as well?
Well, one of the things I noticed from the very beginning of the game is they won the coin toss and they chose to have the ball first. That doesn't happen very often in the NFL. Everybody knows you defer. But what they learned was the Cowboys, if they score first, they generally win the games. Like, if they're on the offense, if they're up, they play a completely different style of football when they're winning. And when they're losing, it is not a good style of football. They do not play well from behind. And so Green Bay's biggest hurdle was that very first drive. Can you score a touchdown? Can you go down, and not 3? You got to get 7 coming down there on the Cowboys, and the rest you just have to apply pressure. And they did that. They did exactly what other teams struggled to do that couldn't beat the Cowboys, is get in front and stay in front and force them to play from behind. And that's when all the pressure comes, and that's when you see the Cowboys always fold under pressure.
Do you think it was just one of those things where it was like they were celebrating winning the division too much, because it seemed like that's all that they're really good at? Win the division, maybe you make it out of wild card weekend, but you're not making out of the divisional round. Like, I had to be a kid to remember that, and I feel sorry for Cowboys fans. I just be like, dang, man, y'all fans of this team, and y'all ain't never seen nothing.
They was absolutely looking forward to the next week. They were looking ahead. You should never do that, especially in football. It's any given Sunday vibes for everyone. It doesn't matter where you sit in the playoffs. And they just didn't come out and execute. I mean, you saw guys. I'm not gonna, like, I make all players responsible for the games, right? The coaches and the staff call the plays and all that, and they can't affect you. But when I watch the game and I'm seeing players just like there wasn't a lot of effort. There wasn't a lot of like hard-nosed football. You know what I mean? Like I would have rather have seen people getting penalties from snatching people's helmets off, or, like
Right.
just dirty plays, doing something to show that you really wanted to win the game. And they just got a mud hole stomped in their ass like the whole game. It was quite embarrassing to watch them win that division, which, was a battle all season between the Eagles and the Cowboys. To win that division, to come out there and play like they did all season. Everybody kept saying, this is the year. This year is different. This Cowboys team is different. No, they're not. They're the same team that gets everybody hyped from the beginning of the season. This year, they did win a couple games in December, but not as many as they were supposed to. And they came in and got beat by a team that just was more prepared than them, from the coaches to the players, from the top to the bottom. The Packers came in more prepared and ready for the job, and the Cowboys weren't, period.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it, even though the stat line doesn't really tell you how much of a dog walk that was, because as a lot of media pundits say, empty calories, empty touchdowns, and all of that. And the crazy thing is, I had tweeted too that, okay, now you guys are trying, but the math just isn't mathing. Basically, meaning you guys are trying when y'all are down so much.
Well, the thing is too, that when they scored all those points, the Packers had subbed out all their starters at that.
Exactly. I remember that too.
They subbed out the starters, and that's how the Cowboys even got the stats they got. And then that's why the Packers were like, hold on, we got to put y'all back in. Like, we thought this game was over, but like I said, you got to play to the last whistle, to the clock says zero. And it was smart of them to put their starters back in, because who knows what would have happened. They were only down 2 touchdowns when there was 2 minutes left. Anything can happen, but it was smart of them to put the starters back in and kick the dead body. And they did.
And I was just happy about it, just because, like you said, when their fans just be talking and all of this stuff, saying they're them boys, this, that year, I'm like, nah, like, be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to happen there. Like, just because how bad of a road team that they are, I figured that it would happen sometime on the road, that would happen. I didn't think that they was going to get dog walked at home, which is hilarious.
Well, if you think about it, I think they're 1-3 at home in the playoffs. We talk about home wins, but those aren't in the playoffs. Playoff football is a completely different monster than it is regular season games. And that's a different headspace. That's a different commitment, because you're one and done. There's no tomorrow. Like, if you lose, there's no tomorrow. And I truly feel like the Cowboys showed us who they were in the first half. They showed us that they were panicking. Their coaching staff seemed like they panicked. They didn't have any answers. And how do you think you're going to get to the Super Bowl or even get to the second round if you don't have answers for such a young team? A bunch of 20-year-olds, came out there and smacked you around. Like, everybody was like, oh, they're so young and they're so inexperienced. But sometimes when you don't have pressure on you like that, and you can just get out there and just play football. And if you lose, you lose, because nobody had you winning anyway. That's a different type of confidence as well. It's like, shit, I could just be myself. Let me just go out here and do what I really came to do, and let the chips fall where they may. Well, the Cowboys have extreme pressure on them, considering they finally won the division. It's taken them a long time to do that as well. And then you come out here and fucking lay it. It was just embarrassing.
We could have just finally won the division for back-to-back years. We was the last team to do that since like 03, 04. We could have just had that and been cool. But now we got to win the division again next year and then try to do it again. So the Cowboys just messed everything up. So I wanted to ask you this real quick before we went on to the Eagles and the Bucks real quick. When it came to the Cowboys and the Packers, do you think that Coach LaFleur has the offense exactly the way that he wants it to, since Aaron Rodgers isn't there to, like, quote unquote muck it up?
Well, in Aaron Rodgers' defense, and the people might have issues with this, Aaron Rodgers is arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. And I understand championships matter and Tom Brady has done all those things. But if you're talking about pound for pound quarterback skills, and you take away, a lot of things that are out of your control, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest. Like, he just has everything in his weaponry. He's the total package. But what was happening when he was in Green Bay was everything was on his shoulders. He literally was the offense. He literally had to do everything. And I think that when he was there and they did the coaching change, LaFleur didn't want to give Aaron all of that, Aaron had to become secondary. He couldn't, audible out of things. He didn't have that power, and it kind of mucked everything up in that way, where you have this supreme elite veteran quarterback versus this coach who's unproven.
Right.
You got to figure out a way to make it work, and they just never got on the same page. But you bring in this young guy who's going to do whatever you tell him to do, whatever you tell him, he's going to do it. He's going to follow it because he doesn't know any better, and he knows that he has to prove himself. So I think that was a recipe for the greatness that we saw. They also were very unhealthy earlier in the season. The running back, Jones, he was in and out of the lineup with a lot of injuries, and here he is healthy now. Last 4 games this season, he has been tearing shit up. And when you have a great running game and you have a quarterback that has confidence, that is not afraid to stand in the pocket and make throws, that's what it looks like. It looks like greatness.
Yeah, because Green Bay do look good. I mean, I ain't gonna cap you. I haven't really watched too many Green Bay games, but they actually look pretty good. So, Miko, I don't know how much time you got left, but I got like a couple of more little game notes to get through.
Let's get to it. I got a little time for you.
All right. So with the last couple of minutes left before we have to do the hop out and hop back in thing, because I'm cheap when it comes to this Zoom thing. All right, so you go ahead and tell me the truth about my Eagles. You can tell me how 10-1 was fraudulent, and the problems that one of the last 6-7 games we freaking won. So I mean, we lost like the other 6 or 7 of them. So what happened to my Eagles? Because from a fan, it just looked like we're good. We're just gonna find a way to win. It doesn't matter. Keep the main thing the main thing. We're gonna find a way to win. And unfortunately, we didn't find a way to win, and then the wheels just fell off to the point where it was just like, we just really lost in Tampa Bay to them, which I don't know how good they are, but they wasn't good in week 3. So what happened?
So I was at the game. I'm in Tampa right now. I went to the game last night, and as someone who has been pulling for the Eagles the entire season, and I've always said they don't look good. They don't look like last year, but they were finding a way to win. And sometimes that's all you have to do is find a way to win. But here's how I break down NFL seasons for championship or contending teams. You have your regular season, right? So you have the first quarter of the season where nobody has film on you, right? You got new coordinators, so you have a different scheme, you have different things going on, so there's no film. So you're supposed to win those games if you're a contender, right? Because nobody really knows how to game plan against you. Then you have the second quarter. I break it up in three quarters. You have the second quarter of the season where people have film now, so they can kind of scheme against you, figure some things out, and you still somehow find a way to win those games because you are an elite squad, because you are good. And then the third quarter of the season is who you really are. And that's the part of the season that they lost. Every team in December is who they are, okay? Because everybody has film on you. Everybody knows what you're doing. Now, what are you going to do different? How are you going to beat people that have all these plays, all this film on you? What are you going to do? Because at this point, this is where you are as an organization. And they shit the bed. They lost everything in that third quarter of the season. They lost all but one game in December. We saw the wheels wobbling all season long, but because they were finding a way to win games, nobody panicked. Then when they started losing games, it almost felt like they didn't know what to do. They were so used to being great and being winners, it was almost like they were scared. It looked pussy a little bit, if I'm being honest with you. And then
that hurts.
And then when they came into that game, did you see the missed tackles? Did you see the no effort? I personally was waiting for a fight on the sideline because if I see my teammates, and I never played football, I played the powder puff and the flag and all that, but as a basketball player, if I see my teammates shit in the bed like that and not playing effort, I might smack you in your fucking mouth and be like, what's going on? Who are these people behind you? This is so rude. I'm sorry. I would smack one of my teammates in the mouth like, yo, get your shit together. Like, what are you doing? Like, we have to win the game. There was nothing on the sideline that I saw that said anybody was holding each other accountable. I didn't see any clipboards flying. I didn't see any fucking Gatorade tins being slammed over. It just seemed like they were fine with getting their ass beat to a team that is not better than them, if we're being honest.
Yeah, like all year long for me, like I just looked at the team and I was just always thinking like, okay, well, as long as we win and we good, like I don't have a football mind. I just have a a fan mind of it, wins and losses, what I'm saying, touchdowns and interceptions, what I'm saying, the basic math of football. And I seen, we was good. Like I said, we was good. We was winning. We was finding a way to win. Defense would come through and make some plays for us from time to time. But then it's just the traditional old, okay, now I think the game that had us messed up for real, it was the 49ers game. It was either that one or the second Cowboys game. It was like actually they were like back to back, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that stretch right there,
Yeah,
because because we was good against the Bills, which again people thought we probably going to lose that one. We beat the Chiefs. People definitely thought we was going to lose that one. So we win those two. Then I guess because we won those two, we just got smacked against every.
there was no problems. You thought everything was solved, but what you have to understand is December football, you roll into the playoffs as who you truly are, and they did not do much of anything in December.
Nah, it was Miko. It was hurtful. Because I was dog walking the Cowboys fans all yesterday. Like, see, I told y'all exactly who we thought y'all were, and y'all did it exactly in the way that we knew that y'all was going to do it, in the most embarrassing way fashion. But then something told me it's going to happen to you too. And when I looked at, because I fell asleep, like I was watching it, but it didn't keep me interested enough because I kind of felt the vibes of, oh, this isn't all the way great. So I woke up around the fourth quarter. I'm like, man, we still got eyes isn't what it used to be. I'm looking at my projector like, does that still say 9? I fell asleep when we had 9. Why do we still have 9? And then I looked at the box score like, oh, so it was one of those type of parties where we didn't score at all, which that happened plenty of times in the regular season, except the difference was we had so many points in the first half that if that would have happened, the defense could have held on and we would have been good. And that's how you get into that one score, find a way to win type situation. So I knew it. I just didn't care because we was 10-1. We was the best team in football. No, we not. We'll be back next year. Not like how the Cowboys fans say it. I'm just humbly saying we'll be back next year because we kind of have no choice to be back next year. Miko, if I can get you on for like about 10 more minutes, I want to preview next week, and I got some culture stuff too, some Diddy and a couple of.
You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.
We got Miko back. Miko, I was just telling the pod before you got back on. So the thing that we do is very cheap, right? Which we probably need to get our money up since we do got sponsors and stuff. So Zoom will let you record for 40 to 45 minutes. Then they'll tell you, okay, your free trial is up. Or not your free trial, but your free meeting is up, cut you off. Then normally what we would do is we would hop out, which that's what that part was, and then hop back in. And it's normally like within seconds, boom, 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 we straight. So I clicked it this time. It's like, meeting just ended. Wait 10 minutes. I'm like, you motherfuckers. You guys finally found out the secret sauce to how we've been getting this off for the past 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So now.
Rude too. I was like, damn, they did us like that.
So now I got to tell the podcast crew, like, yeah, guys, there's going to have to be a 10-minute intermission before hopping out and hop back in because it's hard to squeeze a lot of stuff in 40 minutes. And I'm glad that you had enough time because normally I don't get as much time with guests and celebs like yourself. So thank you for having like a little bit more time. It's going to be real good content when it's all chopped.
Don't be ashamed of being cheap. Don't be ashamed. We got to crawl before we walk. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff happens and just keep going, keep trucking along.
Yeah, because definitely, that definitely did kind of, and it's not even that expensive neither. I mean, I probably paid just as much for the RSS fees and stuff, but shoot, if I can save that $12.99, I'm telling you, I can do something with that $12.99. So we got Miko Grimes back on the SS Experience, streaming on the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, the SMG Podcast Network app, also streaming on 106.7 The Beat. So make sure that you rate, review, subscribe, and all of that. So after we talked about my Eagles getting dog walk, we're going to preview this week's playoff football action. Chiefs, Bills, Texans, Ravens on the AFC side, Buccaneers, Lions, Packers, 49ers on the NFC side. So, Miko, which game are you most looking forward to this coming up weekend in the divisional round?
I have to say the Packers and the 49ers. I mean, realistically, the Chiefs Bills game is the game. We've seen that movie a lot of times. The only difference in that game is we have to see the Chiefs on the road. We have never seen the Chiefs play a road playoff game unless it was the Super Bowl. Okay? So they've got to go into Buffalo and play Buffalo in Buffalo, and who knows what the weather is going to be like. So that's a pretty big matchup game there. But I'm so excited about the Packers. Like, I'm excited to see if they can put together a well-planned game like they did against the Cowboys, against the division champions. I mean, the NFC leaders in the San Francisco 49ers. Like, that game to me is probably going to be the most exciting game because
I'm
you have a young quarterback versus Brock Purdy, who nobody has as a top quarterback. He's not a top quarterback. He just has the right scheme, the right coaches. They have a great group of people around him, and he's not fucking it up. Sometimes that's the hardest battle, is having a quarterback that's not going to put you in position to lose. He's always going to make sure that you're in position to win. So I'm excited to see how that young team goes up against one of the greatest, that Shanahan family. They're known for, what they do on that sideline and scheming and planning, and that game's going to be the most exciting game in my opinion.
I'm a since we're like I said, I'm physically in Atlanta, but the radio show itself is in Columbus, Ohio. So I'll be irresponsible if I didn't mention something about CJ Stroud. I think he's the greatest Ohio State quarterback that ever came out of Ohio State. And we're talking about some good ones in college, but they never panned out in the NFL. This man out here is balling, and it's Texans versus the Ravens. So I'm from Virginia. So when the Ravens came down, I'm like, oh, y'all don't like Washington either? We're cool. You know what I'm saying? So I've always had like that AFC, because y'all not in my conference, y'all not in my division. Okay. I can like y'all from way across the way. So I'm looking forward to Ravens and Texans. Lamar's gonna get the MVP, hopefully. If not, but that'd be cool. I hope they don't try to
It'll be
back
a
on the back
shame
end. But
if you don't get the MVP. Who else could possibly get it? Who?
nah, nobody. I
Yeah.
try to make an excuse, but we just remember what happened yesterday, even though the ballot's already in. I bet you everybody who voted for Dak's like, mother, I knew I shouldn't have voted for Dak, but you did, and your ballot's in, so you're screwed on that. But yeah, Ravens and Texans is all for me. Give me two black quarterbacks, one young, one average-ish type young. See how this thing goes.
Yeah.
Texans is a great story though. Miko Ryans, former linebacker with the Eagles, former player with the Texans. The whole tomfoolery that the Texans had going on just to go to another black quarterback, a black head coach. Now y'all winning, Texans. See, that's all y'all had to do. You know what I'm saying? Put some good leadership in your building a little bit and let that thing bubble. Now y'all winning.
Well, yeah, when you talk about Stroud, like, you got to give this young man props, and you have to definitely give their coaching staff props, because one of the reasons I feel like they won that game is because it wasn't all on his shoulders. Even though the moments they needed him to be big, he was huge, but the game wasn't on his shoulders. I think he might have thrown like 21 passes the whole game. I mean, that's just a great opportunity for a young quarterback to just step into himself. And I know a lot of uh, organizations passed on him in the draft, and for him to show up the way that he did, and they had a rocky season. We know that they got out of the division. That's all that truly matters sometimes, is if you win the division is a little, lackluster. So that's why I don't have them winning this game against the Baltimore Ravens. But it is an exciting story, and I am excited to see what kind of scheme they come up with. Because one thing about it, the Ravens defense isn't going to allow him to do what he did against the Cleveland Browns. They're not going to allow that. I don't see them allowing the run game to affect them in that way. They have much better secondary as well. So it'll be interesting to see. This is more of a chess match for the coaches, in my opinion, because on paper, the Ravens are just a flat out better team overall. And so scheme is what I think makes the difference in this game.
Come on, Lamar. I need you to get this. I need you to get this win for me, B. I kind of on the lovable Lions, just because like they won me some money, but I think I might have cursed myself. Right? I don't like betting around emotion. So I'm gonna give funny story real quick. So the Lions was playing the Cowboys, and I had the Lions plus 5.5, but I had the under at 40.5. So around that fourth quarter, that tomfoolery was going on. It's
Right.
like, damn. So I need Detroit to score. I
Hmm.
need them to go for two, and I need them to miss it. Like I needed all three of those things to happen. So Jared Goff going down the field, boom, touchdown. All right, cool. So now we at the plus 5.5. We straight. Don't go for, because if they would have went for two, it would have been 40.5. And obviously they're going to overtime. Somebody's going to score. So
Yeah.
then the over
Done.
would have been done. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, y'all scored a touchdown, great. Plus 5.5 is cool. All right, Dan Campbell. Do what Dan Campbell does. You know what I'm saying?
That was an awful decision he made, but go ahead.
Be meathead. We're going for two. So it's like, all right, let's go. They go for two and they make it, but then they don't because they said the lineman didn't report, which he clearly did. Again, the Dallas screw over. Great. I'm about to get some money. They do it again. Mike is lined up in the neutral zone. Okay, dang. All right, so Man Campbell's not going to be. He's not going to go for it 3 times in a row. He's going to kick the field goal. He's going to kick the extra point, right? But for the money, I needed Man Campbell to be Man Campbell. And damn sure enough, he was Man Campbell. And
Yeah.
Goff was Goff the way I needed him. Underskipped that ball. So I won, but then I felt icky because of like the Cowboys benefited off of that. But I won some money.
It's
And I
about
never felt better. I never felt better about myself ever since.
Listen, it's okay when you're playing, when you're betting with your heart and you're an Eagles fan, that's different than your pocket. Your pocket got to be a completely different personality. Like you got to let that shit go about the Cowboys. If they going to win a game and you're going to financially profit, then you clap that up. That's good on you. It doesn't matter. Look, y'all both lost in the first round anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, big picture, it didn't matter. But I'm telling you, in that moment, it just felt icky. It was just like, ew, any other time I would have wanted y'all to get screwed over, but nah, and I profited.
That's the one game, the Lions and the Bucks game, that I feel like the Lions, that's the only game actually in this whole second round that I feel like I know who's going to win. And that's not to diss the Bucks. Obviously, they came out of the worst division in football. Like the NFC South is the dumpster fire of the entire NFL. All three teams outside of Carolina had an opportunity to win the division of the last week of the season. That tells you right there how bad it was. And they came out on top. And lucky for them, they got the struggling, limping Eagles coming into town and were able to put together a great game. They played an amazing game. They, with the help of the Eagles, just not even tackling, no energy, no fight in them, no dog in them. But now they're going against a Lions team that really feels like they were had in that game. They just beat the Rams, who, they had to swap the quarterback situation. I feel like the Lions are really high on themselves. The Bucks should be as well, but I know they played week 6. I think it was week 6 they played against each other, and the Lions, pretty much beat them easily, and they were injured and wounded and all those things. So they have a lot of more healthier players now, the Lions. So I sadly feel like the Lions are going to win this game, and it's in Detroit. But the other 3 games are the games that I truly feel like you never know. You just never know.
The lovable lines. I love how you brought back the fact that the Buccaneers dog walked the Eagles yesterday. I thought we was off of that last segment, but it's okay. She had to bring us full circle. Miko Grimes on the SS. So Miko, just to go into some little bit of history you spent 3 times in some cities because your husband played ball there. ATL, Tampa Bay, and Miami. So I want to play a game of ATL, Tampa Bay, and Miami, where I'm gonna give you 3 things, and you just tell me which one of those 3 cities is best for said things.
Okay.
We'll start with something simple. Food. Best place for food. Atlanta, Tampa, or Miami.
Miami for sure. I'm a vegan most of the time. I do dabble in a little fish, maybe a piece of crab here and there, but that's really like kind of like my junk food, if that makes any sense. But I'm 98% vegan, and Atlanta's vegan food is nothing but fried bullshit. And Tampa, although they do have some pretty good vegan restaurants, there's not very many of them. And in Miami, you can find a pretty good batch of everything, all foods, especially the Caribbean food, and the Cuban food is high there as well. So I would have to go Miami as a vegan.
All
I don't know
right.
about anybody else, but for me, that's what matters.
How about fan base? Since you was able to be a part of be a part of those 3 fan bases, Atlanta
Oh,
or Miami, who's the better fan base?
Tampa, for sure. Atlanta, there is no such thing as a fan base there. They do not care. You could be winning and they still won't come to the games. Miami, sadly, they've always just not been very good, and there's so many things to do in Miami, so it's tough to get people into that stadium. Also, with you not losing, even this year they were winning, they still didn't have a crazy like you when you watch the road teams that come into town because every road team wants to come to the Miami game because it's Miami.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
pretty much the crowd is 50-50 with the other teams. So they sell their tickets. They don't give a shit about coming to the game. But Tampa, sadly, there's not very much to do, which makes their fan base die hard. They don't care if they 3-15. They are coming to the game. They're going to be loud. They're going to be supportive, win, lose, or draw. The Tampa fan base is a much stronger than both of those other cities.
All right, final one for Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami strip clubs.
So a lot of people might not know this, but the city of Tampa is number one when it comes to the amount of strip clubs in a city. Number one, the whole United States. Okay.
Oh wow.
It's a strip. I went to the strip club last night.
Oh wow.
Tampa got the strip club game on lock. What they don't have is, and I think it's a great thing, is a whole bunch of celebrities in the strip club, right? But what that means is I could go in there, I can get a bottle of whatever, get me a table, get me a section, $150.
Mm, not bad.
I'm with it. Now, do you have all these rappers and athletes everywhere and the glitz and glamour that comes with $2,500 a table? No. But what you're going to get is good quality ass shaking, uh, nice looking women for the low. So I'm sorry. I'm choosing Tampa over Atlanta. Miami is kind of a mixture of the two. You can find a little bit of everything in Miami. Only thing about the Miami strip club industry is not a lot of good dancing to me.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? In these things, we always try to have make sure that we have equal representation of each one. Crowd try to do a little side bets. Like, let's see, maybe she'll probably pick all of this one, all this one. I ain't gonna lie. I really thought ATL had a shot.
ATL.
Food, Miami, and Tampa. I figured fans wasn't gonna be ATL because you're right about that. Like they it's always the other team. Like the MARTA station be filled with the other team every time. It's
I will
crazy.
give what I will give Atlanta is for the strip club is the showmanship of it all. The almost like fireworks are going off when they're stripping, but to pay $2,500 for that, I don't need it. I'm sorry.
Nah, and I'm cheap too. I don't like paying for parking. You ain't gonna tell
Parking
me I got to pay
alone is
$20.
$100 in Atlanta. I parked at Tampa Strip Club last night, $10 up front row, get to keep my keys and everything. It's
Oh, so valet was like $10. See, now that's lit.
Yes, it's an amazing experience in Tampa. And if you really want to get gangster and cross that bridge over to St. Pete, they got even more strip clubs over there, and it's a time. Tampa, don't sleep on the strip clubs in Tampa.
So the Eagles play an NFC South schedule coming up in the 24-25 season, which kind of sucks because we get Atlanta and Carolina at home, which me living in Atlanta is kind of like, dang, the one time I did want the Eagles to come here,
You got to go there, yeah.
I got to go back to the crib. But we do get Tampa and New Orleans on the road. So I might have to take you up on seeing what's up with the strip club out there in Tampa. You know what I'm saying? Just to because it's just straight down 75 from Atlanta, I think, if my geography's right. Yeah. So straight
Yeah,
shot. Yeah.
straight
Get,
down 75 to 275. Yeah.
all right. Well, I'm gonna definitely see what the stripper action like because I can't afford it out here. Not gonna lie. I
Yeah,
used to be a strip
great
club connoisseur. I can't afford it. It's out of my budget. I can't do it.
for
I can't
nothing.
compete.
For nothing for a whole bunch of BBLs. Like there's like a lot of girls don't even have no pole action. They can't actually dance. It's just a lot of ass wagging, and that's cool. But I like girls that can actually dance and have like a show about them that are performing pole experts. You don't got to have a big old booty to be a stripper. You don't have to have that BBL. You can actually be a great performer with a nice body and show off and act up. But everybody likes a big booty that's just moving. And I 2,500 for that. I'm sorry. I'd rather go to
See,
Tampa.
know what I'm saying? To all the natural girls out there, message before you go put that needle or put that stuff or move that fat around. Know what I'm saying? Stay natural as long as you can. But if you are going to get a BBL, at least get some money off of it, which you should because you got the BBL.
Yeah,
All right,
you
so Miko, two more things real quick. I want to get some culture with you because it's hit my timeline. I know you big in these Twitter streets. So Diddy's not about to attend the Grammys, and we all know the stuff that's going around with Diddy. This was always my thing, Miko. It was this, right? Like, so Diddy paid off Cassie because he didn't want none of this stuff to go. He's like, all right,
mhm.
look, look, you knew what we did, but okay, you want some money now? Here, hush, whatever. Because come on now, like that lawsuit just threw my mind. Anyway, like wait a minute, like all of this stuff was, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's not my point. My point is that he paid the bread off so that can just chill. Now everybody coming out the weed works like Diddy did this to me. Take that, take that, take that. Now Diddy can't go to the Grammys because yeah, he just can't
Nobody
go to
wants to
the
sit
Grammys.
next to him is what the problem is. Everyone has said, if you sit me next to Diddy, I'm not going to sit there. He's almost like an embarrassment now to music for a lot of people who, and sadly, was at all them damn parties and possibly participated in the shenanigans as well. But this is what happens when you're being ousted by your community. Nobody wants to be a part of it. Nobody wants that dirt on them, that mud on them. So everybody's staying away from them.
It's just it's kind of like the thing with like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, and all these other people. It's like y'all wait for a certain, and again, I'm not saying that there's a certain appropriate time to, say these things, but it just always seems like it's at a time where the person's on a come up for something and then somebody brings them down. Not to say that the behavior is not worth them being brought down. I just hate the timing of all of this stuff. Like Diddy just dropped the album. I liked it, by the way. The joint with Jacquees and Fab. One of my constantly banging that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very dope album. I just be hating Miko. I just be hating the timing of it. Like y'all like it's always us too that always has to go down for most of this stuff. Like Epstein was able to chill for a hot minute before they burned him, and Aaron Rod. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. I didn't really do too much research on that, so I'm not gonna get into that. But what's else your thoughts about Diddy not being in the Grammys? Like, what if Diddy would have won a Grammy? Like, just saying out of shits and giggles. You know what I'm saying? Just because 50 said that he's not gonna win, so like, why you gonna go? They ain't about to give you no trophy.
Here's the thing. I stopped watching the Grammys years ago simply because I just thought it was a bad representation of our music. Like we get dissed, we get fucked over, at the Grammys all the time. All these awards, Black excellence and Black artistry takes a back seat to white people. And so I have decided for myself that I'm going to choose who the Grammy winners are in my head, in my household, in my radio. So I
Right.
don't care who has won a Grammy, right? But what people should take into consideration, and this is something that I've told my son and anybody that will listen. R. Kelly, for example, the talent speaks for itself, right? Come on. Just because you're a piece of shit does not mean you're not talented. Okay? Puff is talented. R. Kelly's talented. All these people are talented. That what they do on the sides, you separate that from their art, they're talented. I don't like when our people say it's always us doing this to our people, but it's always us doing things, right? You can't go for decades sexually assaulting women, abusing women, um, being a closeted gay person and doing all these things um that aren't who you say you are in the light.
Mm.
And when you get exposed, people say, why are people always but we're doing shit.
No, that's
We're
100%
fucking
fact.
up. We're fucking up. And I'm all for somebody telling their story whenever it happens. And I want to have a transparent and vulnerable moment with you right now. I was molested as a child. And I didn't speak. I told my mother, and it was my uncle, my mom's sister's husband. And it took me till I was 19 at the
Mm.
first time to speak about this molestation. And it didn't go very well. My family didn't, my mom and my aunt didn't support me in those moments, right? So I literally didn't speak about it again until this year. I'm 48.
Oh wow, that's a very long time. So, what made you decide to get that out?
Therapy. Took me a lot of years of therapy to even be comfortable enough to say it out loud, to be strong enough to not like, because every time I would think about saying it, I would get emotional. I was sweating and I'm about to cry. And I don't like that feeling. I wanted to get to the point where I could speak about it like I am with you right now and be calm and be like, yeah, that happened to me. And I have a right to speak about it whenever I feel like I'm ready. So I just want to put that message out there that doesn't matter how long it takes. If someone sexually assaulted you, if someone raped you, molested you, or anything, you have every right to speak about it whenever it happens. Now, the problem that I have a lot of issues with is the Me Too movement specifically, where you have a situation, let's just say let's say you're this big, powerful radio person, you're big time, right?
Yeah.
And I go to you and I want a radio show and I want to come to you and I'm like, oh my God, I want to have a radio show. And you're like, well, if you suck my dick, I can give you a radio show. And then you say, okay, I'll suck the dick for the radio show. I don't like that. Don't come back 20 years later and say, well, he was powerful and he said you sucked the dick. You could have said no. You could have said, no, I'm not doing that for a show. Can you give me a show without sucking your dick? And if he says no, then you go somewhere else and try to get a radio show. But if you suck the dick for the show, it's not the same as people being attacked and people being molested and raped and sexually assaulted. It's not the same thing to me. I don't care how powerful the person are. If you have an opportunity to say yes or no and you choose no, that's on you.
Got to stand on business.
Stand on business. Yeah.
That's what they saying. That's what, as they say, the kids are saying these days, stand on business.
On business. If you suck that dick, then keep it to yourself. Because now you're famous. Now you're powerful. Now you're in all these rooms. You're making all this money. Now you're a superstar, and now you're like, well, so and so said if I sucked his dick, okay, and you benefited from that dick suck. Look at you.
And see, that's why, like, a lot of the times, like, depends on like who says the story. But again, you're not in the room while the sucking is going on, so you never know if it's consensual or forceful or not. So you just be like,
right,
okay, whatever. Let the powers that be juggle that stuff, or whatever. Because, like I said with R. Kelly, because R. Kelly is one of my religious content things to talk about. We're all complicit. If you ever stepped in the name of love, if you ever listened to Chocolate Factory, I always wanted to get Chocolate Factory too, but we're not about to get it now because R. Kelly's not coming home. We're all complicit in it, but we turned a blind eye until we couldn't turn a blind eye anymore. COVID happened, 2020. We needed something to do. R. Kelly, the surviving R. Kelly, or that might have been like a year before. Man, what a time not to be alive if you're R. Kelly. So, Miko, one last thing I want to get done real quick. It's a game that I like to call Miko or Mik-No. If you're cool with it, it's Miko. If you ain't fucking with it, it's Mik-No. So
okay.
I want to start off with Miko or Mik-No. Football games being exclusively streamed.
Mik-No.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
I don't. You talking about the whole Peacock thing they just played? They tried.
All of it. I be thinking about the 70-year-old old man that's like, the cock. Where's the cock?
Yeah,
What's a
that's kind
peacock?
of bullshit. You got to understand, like, football, like games in general, like all sporting events and games, these are supposed to be things on regular old TV. That's what you pay for cable for. Now you want somebody to get a whole streaming app. They got to download an app. They got to pay the monthly, whatever. Then they got to, even if you do the trial, the 30-day, now you got to remember to delete it before the 30 days up or you're going to get charged. It's bullshit. And I get what they're trying to do, but they're already rich. Stop it. Stop. You're already rich. Knock it the fuck off. Okay? It's stupid.
I got a third-party streaming site where I watch stuff on, so that whole Peacock and Amazon Prime missed me with that. I'm cool on that. But the Canadians did it. The Canadians did it right, though. The Canadians got a channel up there called CTV because, they get the same programming as we do. They just don't have NBC, Fox. They just have other stuff. And they had the game on regular TV for the good old Canadians up there, you know what I'm saying, up north. So they was able to watch the game without streaming. So shout out to Canada. Y'all always do good work, especially with having universal health care for all. We should be like the Canadians.
No, but the Canadians, they still on that vaccine shit. I'm off that. Sorry. I'm anti-vax. That's some bullshit. They're just let's not even get into that. Let's move on.
Yeah. Well, if we can get some more time, we can do that. We can do that on another day. So another Miko or Mik-No. Joining another reality show, Miko or Mik-No?
Ooh, I would say Miko. It would have to be a perfect thing, though. It would have to be something that I felt comfortable and safe doing. And I would also have to be ready to, um, I would say, be more vulnerable. Like I'm not there. Like that happened in 2017, and I'm still jaded off some of the people. Like I've learned that when those cameras go on, people that you thought you knew, they do the strangest things when those cameras are on to be relevant, to be viral, to have these moments. So in order to get me back on a reality show, it would have to be so perfect and so right and so much money. So
Would
I
you
don't
would I don't know, did you have an opportunity or would you have done that Peacock show Traders? It's kind of like one of those murder mystery type things. Would you have done something like that?
what is that?
It's some I've seen the trailer for it. It's basically like a lot of the Real Housewives. So I think like Cynthia, not Cynthia, Cherie's on that joint. The one joint that used to be on Housewives back in the day, the
Hey,
short one.
acting?
No, no, no. It's like a murder mystery type thing where it's like what's like Survivor
Oh,
or
oh, 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 yeah. You know what? Those would be fun. My friend Kim Zolciak, she did one out in Brazil or somewhere like where almost like Big Brother type vibes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff I would be open to doing something like that. That seems like more fun to me, especially like strangers, more than like, oh, these are football wives. Because a lot of these shows have these football wives and housewives, they're fronting. They don't even have no money. Like they're everything is fake, everything is cap, and you can't believe everything that's being said. But on those other shows, you kind of like a competition where like every week we battling to be the head of the household and I
Yeah.
would love to do something like that. That kind of reality show, I'm all for that. That would be fun.
There's different type of reality shows. So, different types. You got your love and hip hops, you got your singular ones and
One of those. I'm off those.
all right. All right. So one last thing of Miko or Mik-No. Taylor Swift swag surfing. You're Miko or Mik-No?
No, that shit looked like a canoe, a tugboat, a pontoon. No, they weren't surfing. That was actually like the mayo version, the mayonnaise version of a swag surf. It was not cool. It was nasty. It was nasty work. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm still questioning whether that relationship is valid. Only because Kelsey liked black girls, right? But I talked to one of my girlfriends who's from Ohio, and she said that they are both from Ohio and they kind of grew up what she called, this is a white woman now, she called trashy. They're trashy white people. And
Oh,
she said sometimes you find somebody right in your trashy white element and it just clicks. So she's like, it could be like them reverting back to their trashy childhood and liking each other. And it could be a real legit relationship. But this is hard for me to see Travis Kelsey like these beautiful brown women and then go for a girl that's built like a 10-year-old white boy and corny.
the crazy thing is like I'm not into the dating world, but obviously you're around most of that than I am. I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that he was dating K Michelle and like the drop off between like a K Michelle type to a Taylor Swift type is like night and day, like figuratively and literally. I'm like, oh, so because they was trying to crack the joke like how when black men date white women, should we be as outraged that Travis Kelsey is dating a white woman, despite the fact that Travis Kelsey is white? So that's a little joke that they was trying to make, and it kind of went over my head for a second till again you said, oh, he normally dates black women, so it's like, oh, so he might got the card to be cool to be in the barbershop because he normally gets a nice line and he's
Everything
crispy.
about him
He's
says he wants to be the black white guy. Like it's giving. I love the culture. I love the women. I love the look. He kind of has that little swagger about him. You could tell he's been around a lot of black people and he likes them. And he's what we would call like, well, I guess you would call him a no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna give him that name. I just think that him jumping over to Taylor Swift doesn't seem authentic to me. Now, does that mean it's not authentic? Absolutely not. I don't know those white people. I don't know how they linked up, but it just seems very weird to me for him to go to. I've seen 3 or 4 of his exes, and they were Black women and beautiful. I mean, beautiful Black women. And then Taylor Swift to me is not beautiful at all. Like, she's not ugly, but there's nothing about her that just looks fuckable. Like, what is this? You know, but
I
hey,
mean, Taylor Swift is
oh,
just you said she's a twig. You know what I mean? Like for certain people like us or like me, it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? She would have to get a BBL in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? She would have to expand that out a little bit more, even though I know you gotta have fat to make the BBL, but
she ain't got
put
it.
something in there. You know what I mean, we can make that thing work. So Miko, I definitely appreciate you being on the pod, being on the show. It was definitely good work. Would you like to promote your show? Anything else that you want to promote on the way out?
Yes, again, one more time, ho.everything on Instagram if you are interested in doing any acting, male or female. We have white characters, Spanish, Black, male, female. We got a grandmother we're trying to cast. If you are interested in listening to my podcast, which is kind of on a hiatus right now, but I'm gonna tap back into it. It's called Ask Miko. You can go on YouTube and search Ask Miko or I Heart Miko on YouTube. My Instagram is at I Heart Miko. I use Instagram more than anything else. And yeah, that's about it.
Hold on, so you're not out here in these Twitter streets
I
no
am,
more?
but you know what's sad about Twitter is after I got kicked off Twitter in 2015. I don't know if you know that. But I'm back on Twitter, but my name is OG Meek Millie, I believe. And I just looked at the app right now. It hasn't even I had to click it to re-download it. That's how much I don't use it. And I keep forgetting to use Twitter. Like because I was off of it for 8 years, it's hard for me to remember to use it, sadly.
I got kicked off Twitter too. This was around the time where Trump got kicked off of Twitter because that's when like everybody from both sides of the line was like talking their stuff. And someone, you know what I'm saying, used the N-word and then I said some things and then my but hey look, as much as we people want to give shit to Elon Musk, shout out Elon Musk because he gave me my Twitter back. The reason why I wanted my Twitter back so much is because I got a Barack Obama follow, which was a Senator Barack Obama follow, not a President Barack Obama follow, a Senator Barack Obama follow. But when I click on Barack Obama, follows you, and I needed that. So shout out to Elon Musk for giving me back my original Twitter because yeah, I just needed that Barack Obama follow. That's all I needed. I just
I wish
needed
I would
that
have gotten
flex.
my name back. I didn't get I Heart Miko back, so that's why I had to get OG Meek Millie as my Twitter. You just reminded me I need to get back in these Twitter streets. I need to have a little more fun on Twitter. So I'm gonna try to step it up in 2024 on my Twitter game.
Hey man, it's still a fun place, even though they call it X and you don't know who's real anymore because the celebrities who used to have blue check marks don't have blue check marks because they're not going to pay for it. The fake people who want blue check marks are paying for it. So you don't know who. You just got to. It's one of those if you know type people. You know who's real and hopefully who's not, and just don't take money or just don't send money to people that you think is your favorite celebrities because why would they ask you for money?
Weird. People are so weird getting scammed like that on apps. Like, come on, bro. Be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, be better, be better. Well, Miko, man, again, it's always good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun here. It was good times. And it wasn't like a basic, boring interview. So props to you for keeping it interesting and fun.
You're listening to the SS Experience on SMG.